I must read too many footnotes. Now we're on part 10. The classic tradition of haiku will probably finish. We're reading from Shiki, who is a 19th century poet. He says, Ichi Hatsue no, this lone iris, white in spring twilight. This lone iris white in spring twilight. Ichi Hatsue is a fleur de lis, a kind of iris. Suki contrasts the radiantly white single flower with the gathering darkness of evening. That's a nice image, isn't it? This lone iris, white in spring twilight. And he says, Hito iyashiku. Men are disgusting. They argue over the price of orchids. Men are disgusting. They argue over the price of orchids. Now he says, Man shimi ni. Coming out to close the gate, I end up listening to frogs. Coming out to close the gate, I end up listening to frogs. Then he says, Ni muran tu su. I'm trying to sleep. Go easy when you swat flies. I'm trying to sleep. Go easy when you swat flies. Then he says, Odo roku ya. Surprise. A moonflower fell. Midnight sound. Surprise. A moonflower fell. Midnight sound. Japan has asa geo, morning face or morning glory, haigo, day face, noonflower or daylily or yigo, evening face or moonflower. I don't know, those are different words or flowers. Waga suki no, unable to devour these persimmons, I adore how this illness of mine. Says, unable to devour these persimmons, I adore, oh, this illness of mine. Next poem, Yuki Furu no Yo, snow's falling. I see it through a hole in the shutter. Next poem, Yuki no Iini. All I can think of is being sick in bed and snowbound. All I can think of is being sick in bed and snowbound. Then he says, Iku tabi mo. Again and again I ask how high the snow is. Again and again I ask how high the snow is. And he says, Kito no, coxcomb. I'm sure there are at least 14 or 15 stalks. Coxcomb, I'm sure there are at least 14 or 15 stalks. Here he's saying this is considered Shiki's masterpiece. Cockcombs are a blazing, fire-colored plant, stalks that grow to a height of 2 feet, tall enough to be seen at the veranda edge by Shiki lying on his pallet. They cluster together so tightly that counting them is difficult. To most readers, the pathos lies in the contrast between the dying man and the sturdy life outside. Shiki is dying, huh? Coxcomb, I'm sure there are at least 14 or 15 stalks. Haiku no. A paper kimono shows the guts of haiku. A paper kimono shows the guts of haiku. The kamiko was a thin, windproof outer kimono made of crushed paper treated with persimmon juice. Having taken vows of poverty, haiku poets of yore before shiki fancied such inexpensive wear, and they could also write poems on their clothing as a kind of self-advertisement. Here he says a paper kimono shows the guts of haiku. Then he says, Yomi, how much longer is my life? A brief night. How much longer is my life? A brief night. Then he says, Kaki kui no. Tell them I was a persimmon eater who liked haiku. He just says, tell them I was a persimmon eater who liked haiku. I guess that's how he summed up his life. Although Shiki put the word haiku into common parlance, here he used the now out-of-fashion word hoku. He used haiku is modern, you see, and hoku is old. And he says, now he says, tell them I was a persimmon eater who liked haiku, but he liked the old word hoku. Alright. Jo Butsuya, Buddha death, the moon's face, the moonflower's face, the snake gourd's fart. He says, Buddha death, the moonflower's face, the snake gourd's death. Jo Butsu, literally to become a Buddha, means to die in peace or to go to heaven. Hachima or lofa, sponge, snake gourd, or tongue gourd has grown in Shiki's garden for medicinal purposes. Before its flowers or goes to seed, it yields a juice that thins mucus and eases spasms of coughing. Facing the moon of death, medicine is as useless as a plant's fart. A pun on he. He says, Buddha death, the moonflower's face, the snake gourd's fart. Then he says, Oto to no, the lofa water from day before yesterday, still not taken. The lofa water from day before yesterday, still not taken. Then he says, Hachima seiti, the towel gourd has flowered. Here lies a man dead, suffocated by phlegm. These last two haiku dictated to a disciple show that his condition was hopeless. The gourd plant was allowed to flower. Its life became the symbol of Shiki's death. Here, Hotu Kui, Buddha means one who has just died. Masumi Sosiki, the celebrated novelist, his likeness is on the 1,000 yen notes, was in London when Shiki died. In mourning for her friend, she wrote, Kiriki Naru, Ichi, blah 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 blah. See how it hovers in these streets of yellow fog, a human shade. Donald Keene interprets this as Shiki's thinking she saw Shiki shade on its way to the yellow springs of the afterworld. Very good. Seems we just finished the book. The last poem was "The towel gourd has flowered. Here lies a man dead, suffocated by thin." We finished reading in the section 10, a classic tradition of haiku, which was provided an anthology of haiku by Faubion Bowers. Faubion Bowers actually worked as a translator for General MacArthur. And this guy tried to help preserve some Japanese culture after the war against Japan. And we finished with Shiki, who is a fairly modern haiku poet. He actually promoted haiku. Okay, that's the end. Masoka Shiki. And a book. We obtained the book from Dover Publications on simplye, New York Public Library.